Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with today's trading action. It's Thursday, the 22nd of February. All right, now just hang in there, right? I know traders who come through our program understand, right? There's some weeks where things aren't moving too much, but we are starting to see, and we had the FOMC come and go. You know, there was no real sort of change of any extra comments in there. They're in no rush to sort of start cutting rates, but the market doesn't really believe them. Right. And we are seeing the dollar start like a bit of an unwind of US dollar positions, whereas the yen, it's still sort of, dipping lower as the Nikkei goes through the roof. Dollar CAD hanging in there within recent ranges, but we are seeing a nice little flush out of shorts in Euro, Sterling, Aussie, and Kiwi, right? There's a bit of an unwind here of those US dollar positions. And, you know, it's one of those things, you sort of start to see it. It's a week where we haven't had massive, compelling data to give the instruments very clear direction, but we are seeing that unwind. And this, I think we might see this a little bit more. And what I mean by that is, this is where the numbers really do come into play, right? If I just bring the calendar across, like we've got a bunch of US numbers out today. And so everything that's in the market right now, the big US inflation numbers, etc., the Fed, FOMC, that's all fair value now across the board. So if we see on these PMI numbers and say the existing home sales, etc., if we see weakness in these numbers, and these are like second tier numbers, we could actually start to see the dollar really start to drift lower, right? The central banks tell us one thing, and the market sort of looks at it and goes, yeah, you know, we know you're sort of managing things, but we know you're on the edge. And that's how they sort of trade it. So to me, the market is not giving up on when the Fed might start cutting rates. So I think it's 30% factored in for May. Weaker numbers will do a lot for that, right? So that's where we are. Like looking across the board here, and we had we did get slightly weaker housing numbers out of Canada, but that didn't really materialize into a higher dollar CAD because the dollar is drifting lower, right? So we've got that sort of clash there. The FOMC obviously come and gone, not much there. There's not much happening in the Asian session. And then you come back down into today's data, we get a chance here too. And this is once again, with the euro sort of up here in the middle of nowhere, hasn't been a lot of euro data. You know, all we need is some significant variance here in the some of these PMI numbers out of Europe to get the euro moving either up or slightly down, right? I think the markets are sort of in limbo. Traders are gagging for opportunities. It's about being patient and just waiting, right? The Canadian retail sales figures, like the third number this week out of Canada. Once again, if these are weaker, right? The previous numbers were really weak. This is like the UK numbers, really weak numbers. They bounce back the week or the month after. So we'll see. If these are negative, then I think we will see a decent move in the CAD. Or if they're exceptionally strong, then we might see a bit of a flush out. So that does have potential. And then we come into the North American session with the weekly jobless claims, those PMI numbers, and the existing home sales, right? So we're looking to piece together like a clearer idea of what the US dollar is doing. Because at the moment, right, we saw the, you know, strong non-farm payrolls. We saw strong US CPI. Now that's all in, market's long, and it's now squeezing to the downside, right? If we don't get any clarity out of the US numbers today, I expect that squeeze to continue, and we could see euro like very easily just cruising topside with nothing really going on, right? Just keep an eye on that downside in dollar CAD because we get really strong numbers here. Okay, it really works because we've got a weaker dollar picture and we get a strong CAD picture with those retail sales. Dollar CAD could be the trade here. You want to keep an eye on oil, make sure it keeps rallying, and that is probably the trade to really watch because it's one of the few instruments with a technical setup. All right, guys, that's pretty much it from me. Just having a look at the markets, right? We are starting to see a bit more of like clarity in the market, right? We're seeing a bit of a risk-on situation here in the Asian day. US equity futures up, Asian equity futures up, Euro, Sterling, Aussie, Kiwi up, and the dollar generally down. Okay, bond prices in the US were up. What does that mean? It means the yields are down. Okay, weaker dollar, right? So technically across the different financial markets here, everything looks good. That gives me confidence to have a look at the market and then piece together a good trading opportunity. Now, just while I'm on that, I'll be doing a separate video shortly in March, I am bringing back the live trading events for all the major releases, right? It's going to amp up my trading. It's going to amp up your trading, and it's going to sort of basically change the way you see the markets. I'll give you more details as we go through or we get closer to March. All right, guys, have a good trade week. All the best. Cheerio.